Yeah, I guess that's still a job. Next day I go to cheap with the next one. Yeah, it's a month too late, or, you know, a couple weeks or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's oops.
Trying to adjust the thing on each of them. Yeah, something that has a volume to it.
They're great hearing aids. I can actually hear what those things on, but they cut out the gunshot, so I'm not, so.
Some of those are nice.
Yeah.
I can supposed to be able to turn it up with this, but I haven't had much luck with it.
Yeah, they made fun of me all the time.
Okay, it's 6 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Doug, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Yeah.
Fall down, take us both out.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember Squires,
Here.
Councilmember Wilkes, I'm sorry, I need to hear. Vice Mayor Arnold,
Here.
and Mayor Shepherd,
Here.
all
Thank you.
are present.
Public comment. Members of the public may address the city council on matters which are not listed on this agenda. The city council may not discuss nor take action on any item not listed on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any public comment? Hearing none, thank you. Item 5, consent calendar. What we got going on here? Anybody want to remove any items off the consent calendar to discuss separately? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve the consent calendar.
Do you have a second?
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 6, discussion and action, 2nd Street Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project. Is that you, Dave?
This is me.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, before you, we have a staff report for the notice of completion. This is a administrative action that we take to close out a project and be able to release the retention to the contractor. He has fulfilled his contractual duties in completing the 2nd Street project. And so, yeah, we're just here to kind of close that out and do the paperwork so that then we can file out the grant and get all the money back for that. Just a couple of things to note. The original contract was for $725,749. We did have some change orders in there, some minor things for $37,800. Came out to like 5.2% of the total contract amount. We budget for a 10% contingency, so we're under the budgeted amount for the project as far as the construction piece goes. So yeah, we had this total contract amount for $763,558, and yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with that. And any questions? There's a resolution here to be passed. That's part of the action here is to adopt that resolution for the notice of completion, and then we'll file it with the county.
Okay. Any questions for Dave? Everybody's went by and looked at the project, I assume. Well, I know some of you have, or most of you have. It's kind of hard to miss.
Nice not to have that open ditch out there. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's been there all my life, but I kind of miss it. So any public comment? Hearing none, so with that, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll do it. I'll make a motion that we approve the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 438.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Let me start over. That?
Yeah, that's one.
Thought we were up here on this one. Well, that was the,
Consent calendar.
okay.
It's up on the screen too, if you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution number 2025-34, resolution of the City Council of the City of Biggs authorizing the city administrator to accept the construction contract on behalf of the city for the Second Street Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project, City Project number 24-01.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item B, City Council discussion and appointment of council members to commission and committee assignments. So do you want me to take this, Rodney?
You can. I will not fight you on that,
All right, well,
because you're the man in charge of these assignments.
yeah, well, the reason I asked for this is, for a couple of reasons. Could you, scroll up to the assignment part? Or scroll down, I guess. Actually, that'll work, either one of them.
Well, this is a list of the assignments here.
That'll work right there, the top part, really those top four. But obviously to review and, with the police and fire, all of us are alternates. I'm the primary, but I wish to make Zach the alternate as well. And then if you're okay, Doug, I think you're my alternate for flood control, but to make Zach, the alternate, for a contingency plan. In other words, you know, he could take over that next year.
Sounds good.
And then, same way with NCPA, make him an alternate as everybody else is, the rest of us. And same way with the Lodi Energy Center. And then, I think those are the only ones really that,
There's one I'd like to throw out.
okay.
The BK and air quality, I'm having a hard time when I get there. The building is set up, I don't know if you've been in there, building, it's set up for here, and they don't talk in the microphone. I've asked them to pick up the speakers. I don't know if there's somebody else that could go do it besides me in these two meetings. I know it's in the middle of the day, it's two meetings, it's kind of hard to do it, but if nobody else wants to do it, I'll continue. But it's, they'll make motions and I don't know what it is. I can't even vote on it. You know, I'm sitting there, I don't know what they said. You know, and so it's embarrassing. And they come in there and it's like a hierarchy. They're sitting in the middle, you know, and they want you to sit off on the end and they don't care out there. But anyway, that's my comments.
Yeah, well, anybody interested in that assignment?
It's a couple in the middle of the day. I don't know if you're working it.
How often is it?
It's once a month.
Once a month?
And they're back to back, they start at 9, 9:30 and 10, is that right?
Yeah.
9 to 9:30 and 9:30 to 10 in Chico.
I can try my best, yeah. Let's give that a shot.
So make him the primary and you the alternate
Yeah,
then?
you can do that. I don't know who, somebody might alternate already?
No, well, let's see.
And you just stay as
Current
alternate.
list is up here.
Yeah, there's an alternate, Brian, so.
She could just stay.
So he would
I just step in.
Just make him
alternate, yes, please. so you'll be the primary, and if, get with Doug and he'll help you, but Rodney can also help you. And maybe you could go to the next meeting with him.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get you lined out on that.
Okay.
So, okay, well, thank you. Does that sound good?
All right.
Anything else?
No.
Rome, anything? Yeah? Okay, well, you got a few assignments now.
Sounds like it.
All right, well,
Your
thank
next
you.
board meeting is December 11th for BCAG. I don't know if I heard colleagues, but just as a comment, BCAG is a really important board for our street funding. I attend the TAC meetings, which is the Technical Advisory Committee, and that's how we go through and try to get like the CMAQ money that covered Second Street and all that. So they do a lot of planning, projecting out projects. So they'll have another call for projects here in January. We'll look to see what we can do to, bolster our the funds we have. It's usually trying to leverage those extra funds. So I would recommend. There was a lot of years where Biggs and Ridley both didn't really have a voice at BCAG. Now the board meeting maybe doesn't have as many of the specifics for the transportation grants, but that's where they vote on those actions. So it is good to show up at those meetings, and they're a great resource for any other government type of stuff that you guys are dealing with.
So after he gets kind of squared away, maybe you could get with him and get with Zach, kind of line him out.
Yeah.
For anything that would be helpful.
Yeah, when it comes up, I can cue you in and let you know what's happening. And again, a lot of the TAC meetings are engineers and public works directors and those kind of folks. When we get together, we talk about our projects and kind of line out what we think, because they get a certain amount of money and they've got to divvy it up. So, the more we raise our hand at those and say, hey, we need the money down here in the south part of the county, the more likely they are to do that. But yeah, they pool resources, they pull, that's how 70 got built. Chico raises their hand a lot, so a lot of money goes there. Paradise, same kind of thing in the rebuild. But, we've been successful with Gridley getting Caltrans to really, and BCAG to bring more money down there to get 99. So, it's time to get some money into Biggs too. We don't have the population that they do, but again, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
It's called clerical, I'm getting clerical.
Well, I've been in contact with Dave about the BCAG thing regarding, there are our street/sidewalks issues that we are dealing with on a regular routine basis. And in an email with some of the BCAG folks, it's like Dave was saying, come January, it's gonna be time to start making some noise on Biggs' end to get a piece of that pie. So the more noise we make for the funding, the better. So anybody who participates in those boards, make yourself well known.
Yeah, the other one that's really helpful is Butte County Department of Health. They're the ones that have been getting the grants for like Safe Streets for All, and the Butte County Safety Action Plan. They actually were ones that helped Angelo put together his presentation, and we've done walk audits with them. So they're also, they work with the schools. So just those are the kind of departments and relationships that are worth building, because they're the ones that know where the money are, and you talk about your needs, and they're like, oh, we should help Biggs out, and they really do want to help out the small communities, and we need it. We're the underrepresented when it comes to that stuff.
And I believe we're talking about the same thing. The Safe Street grant is up to $5 million right now, is what I understand. So the money is there, and is what I'm told from our SCORE meeting.
From
But I don't know exactly which grant that,
No,
they were just talking about.
the SS4,
oh yeah,
the one you emailed me on?
Yeah.
Or texted me on, okay, so that grant cycle has already closed in June for that funding for that year. There's not available funds until next rollout.
if they have another rollout. about. So there could be other grants out there. So active transportation is a big one that comes up, highly competitive though, and they have a, you know, what I was telling Rodney, one of the reasons we're not very competitive is we don't have the crash data that supports the projects to reduce fatalities and death. Good news is we've got a really safe community. We don't have a lot of fatalities and, you know, injuries due to traffic accidents, you know, bike and ped, and vehicle accidents, but that also hinders us in getting those grants because, you know, they want to put the money where they're going to get the return on the investment and save lives. I mean, that's really what a lot of these grants are trying to do right now. And we just don't have the data to say, hey, you know, by putting in all these sidewalks, we're going to save lives. Well, we just lost a life, you know, walking in the streets of Biggs. So
Not yet.
I know, it's unfortunate that it takes tragedies
Yeah.
to make you qualified for the grants, but, you know, from the engineering standpoint, I don't want to throw a bunch of, you know, what little money we have at a grant that we may not get, right? Where if we can find other ways like HCD where, you know, the improvements will help push housing developments. The REAP grant that we got out of BCAG, you know, we were there, they said, hey, you guys have a project? Yeah, we got projects. And, you know, we construct the narrative that says it's gonna help infill housing, or it's gonna help, you know, expand the city's, you know, housing market. And we have projects, I mean, just, you know, this one down on 6th Street. That is a good representative for those grants that, you know, if we get this developer to put in a grant that says, hey, we want to improve 6th Street in order to build, you know, to build our apartments, well, we can co-sponsor that, and it's called an IIG grant. It's an infill and infrastructure grant. So those are the kind of things like getting out early, working with the developers. It's money that's not as competitive, and it's driven by the housing market rather than safety elements in, you know, for active transportation or highway safety improvement programs. So anyway, BCAG, Butte County, very helpful with all of those kind of ways to leverage money.
I don't want to get off track here.
No, I know, so we actually need to make a motion on what we proposed. So I'm gonna make the motion. Did you have any other questions? So to appoint Zach as alternate for police, fire, and emergency, alternate for Southern Flood Control, alternate for NCPA, alternate for Lodi Energy Center. I thought everybody was the alternate for Lodi Energy Center.
The previous slide is up there, so
I've
the
never
previous.
dealt with them before, so I don't know.
The LEC shows a primary and a backup.
Well, maybe no, not on the LAC then. I misstated on that. I thought that everybody was on that as an alternate, but, so police and fire, flood control, NCPA, and then primary for BCAG and air quality, and Doug is the alternate. Is that right?
Sounds good.
A second then?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion is second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously, thank you.
I think the council member before I did was never going, so they were excited to see someone come, you know, but I've missed the last couple of them, so they'll be happy to see someone show up. And the big guy there at BCAG, I worked with him at the county for years, so I've known him, and so he's kind of a friend, but it just wasn't working out, so. But
No, it's a good move. Okay, item 7, department reports. Bob?
Nothing to report.
Okay, I love those reports. Any other department reports? Okay.
Oh, I attended SCORE, the board meeting was on the 30th and the 31st. We are doing well with, we just had an audit, it's complete, everything is good, and all the investments for SCORE, we're doing well with our investments, so we're solvent there. was another takeaway. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Just, there are some, again, I'll repeat, there was 3 cities that are struggling with their budgets. Some of those cities, I'll just keep that comment to myself, but anyway, we talked about the Safe Street grant, that the $5 million opened up, and we'll talk about that later. Let's see, sorry, I should have, let's see. We had a very, very good, discussion and training on, good conflict within the city, council, the public, with anybody that we come in contact with, and so, because you have good conflicts, then you have bad conflicts, and then that builds wedges, and so how to overcome those kind of things. So we have very good conversations, and we move forward with whatever we have to do. So that was a very, very good training. Anyway, that's about it.
Okay, well, really appreciate you attending those. That's another huge one that hasn't had enough attention from this council, so thank you. And so I've been spending a lot of time with NCPA, had flood control mosquito abatement meeting today. Things are wrapping up with the mosquito season, and yeah, not much to really report, no action items at flood control. Anybody else have anything?
Did you want a brief report from the sub-basin?
I'm sorry?
Did you want a brief report from the sub-basin meeting?
Sure, go ahead. I mean, do you want to share what you learned? I actually meant to bring that document with me. I think I had.
So I don't have much. During the Butte Sub-Basin Advisory Board meeting, learned that the Butte Sub-Basin is currently in compliance with SGMA, or Sigma.
Yeah.
And on track to meet the state mandated timeline. There will be annual reports and 5-year periodic evaluations. The Butte Basin Groundwater.org is a wonderful website with a ton of information. There's no way I could remember everything they said or all that information, so if you have any questions, that's a good source, as well as the DWR website. The sub-basin launched the GSP periodic evaluation in August of this year, and we'll submit it by January 2027. Is the small takeaway that I had.
No, that's a good one. Actually, I just realized that was the other one that I wanted to point him to. Sustainable groundwater. So
That was the original thing you wanted to do, was for that.
yeah, exactly. I knew I was forgetting something. So do we have to bring that back, Greg? How can we correct that?
There's no reason, it's on the agenda, so there's no reason you can't revisit that item and make that appointment tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just bring it back up then?
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna revisit, item B, the council, city council discussion appointments, and add, Zach as an alternate to sustainable groundwater.
So
As my alternate.
You sub-basin advisory board?
Yes. They call it BAB or.
Yeah, bad.
Is it not on this list? Oh, here it is. Butte Sub-Basin, okay, right here.
And so really the thinking is I've usually in the past handled all the things related to water-ish. I mean, not the whole council doesn't, but flood control, sustainable groundwater. So having that position to take both of those over. So, so we need to go ahead and make a motion then on that again.
I will motion
Go ahead.
for Zach Brown to be the primary for the sub-basement advisory board representative.
That's the alternate.
Oh, alternate? Okay, okay, let me start over. So I will, motion for Zach Brown to be the alternate for the Butte Sub-Basement Advisory Board.
Thank you, and I'll second that. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And yeah, so the other part that I would just say, to add into that, and something Rodney caught, so the cost to that is about $15,000 a year to do the 11 members, and 15, wasn't it, Zach?
It is 15,000 this last go around, yes.
Yes.
That number is,
Yes.
subject to change depending on the participation of its overall folks that are in it, depending on its adopted budget, depending on how much money they're gonna need to protect our groundwater here through the sub-basin, so. I made that direct inquiry because originally when we got into that organization, it was half that cost. It is.
And then it doubled.
It doubled. So here we are. So, and I specifically emailed and says, hey, is this a target number or it's going to increase annually? Just expect it. I don't know what the percentage is, don't know. They couldn't project it at that point.
Nah.
Just so you know.
No, and the other point that, along with that is that however it happened, but this wasn't a budgeted item, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But the money comes from the water fund, so there's money there.
Yeah, I guess my point is just,
There's money there for that, so we're good to go. And one of the things, and I don't know the adoption process that they did for this particular item, because I wasn't around for it. I was partially involved with it at Ridley. Insofar as the city had choices on how to collect this fee. They could either pay it themselves, or they could go through a process to have it added to the tax roll on assessor parcels information. Every entity in this group had the choice to do these different things. They could have had a yearly tax on it, like a property tax, it would be added to the assessor roll, or they could have I guess you might call it special tax. I don't know what else to really call it, to pay this per parcel fee. And at the time, according to everything I've researched, Biggs chose to just pay the fee themselves out of their general fund, or which kind of basically comes from the water fund. So, in effect, we're obviously saving our ratepayers some money by not having to pay the additional fee in their bill for us to participate in this.
and the costs have went up.
They have, at this point, it's, I think like I said, according to the conversation I had with the people who are in the know with that, the cost is anticipated to rise depending on what they have to go through legislatively with the different other sub-agreements that are gonna become part of the other sub-basin, because not do we just have within our area, we're gonna have to probably enter into agreements with surrounding entities around our sub-basins.
Sutter County.
It's a very complicated, scenario with the groundwater and with the boards and the different, regulatory actions that each sub-basin has to partake of. And ultimately, you wind up answering to the state of California. So, the whole purpose to this sub-basin collectively is to protect our water. Protect it here, to make sure that, one, we're using it wisely. We're not over pumping, we're not over irrigating, we're not making the groundwater fall so much that our ground is sinking like has happened in other jurisdictions. So it's all about rainwater coming in, the recharge going down in the aquifer, and how much we're pumping out. You know, because the state is trying to put meters on everybody's residential wells and the city municipal wells. They want to know how much water's coming out.
Which we already have meters. We
No,
already
I, my residential
Yeah.
well,
No, I meant the city.
the city has its own meter, yes. We have to report what we're pumping. But the state is talking about actually charging us money on a per gallon basis down the road based upon how much water we're pumping.
Wow.
So that's what we formed the sub-basin for, was to protect that so we don't have to deal with that.
I met with Butte Water and West Biggs Gridley Water District for Gridley, but they had brought up this the Butte County Subbasin, and they were saying that they are petitioning to get the reporting requirements reduced, you know, because of this big cost, because we don't have, you know, all the rules are designed around the southern part of the San Joaquin Valley, so like we don't have subsidence, you know, all of these monitoring things that they're looking for us to track, well, you know, see the ground, you know, you can't go out and measure subsidence here because it happens so minimally, and if somebody goes tills their field, well, you know, it's gonna vary by a couple of inches, right? So how do you monitor subsidence over, you know, these rice fields and things that, so anyway, I did hear that there is efforts to try to reduce the costs to our subbasin.
Yeah.
With those reporting requirements and all that, so. I don't know who's making that push, but that's what
It's in conjunction with not just our sub-basin, but our surrounding ones as well. It's a collaborative effort, and that's what the big thing is with the meetings we had last week and the week before, was have a collaborative meeting with the other sub-basins, which we did have, and then bring that information back, as, you know, last week we hosted our meeting here for the sub-basin, so we had quite a few folks in attendance, and a lot of information was passed hands. What Zach is referring to with the information available on DWR's website, it is a ton of information that our sub-basin, the flyer that's on there with all the references, is a flyer that was put together by the sub-basin board here, reviewed, approved, and then put out to the general public for information. So we have an active participation within that group.
Yeah, and, you know, when you, Mark was leaving about the time that they were solidifying the funds, and Dennis was there, I was filling in for him for a minute, so it kind of got lost in translation or the shuffle.
At this point, with the person, the entity that's oversees the sub-basin stuff for us, does all the data collecting, puts together reports and everything, I have an email contact with her at least once a week right now.
Yeah, Anjanette or Tina.
Yeah, Tanya,
Tanya.
T-A-N-I-A, Tanya.
I always get it right after
I
somebody.
gotta remind myself to not say that.
It's hard to, it's weirdly spelled. Okay, so no other council reports, city administrator?
Well, we kind of went over some of them already, attending for the hosting the sub-basin last week. That was very, very fruitful, very eventful. Already went over those items. The LEC meetings, it's pretty much in depth on the forecast for budgetary stuff. You probably have seen, mayor's probably seen more forecasts than I have been privy to, insofar as NCPA looking forward with them, as well as to petitioning. We have a letter coming from an attorney right now, petition the state for,
I've been in 3 meetings today, so if you're expecting me to.
I'm trying to, it was just an email I just got today about, from NCPA regarding the review of a letter from an attorney that's going out to the state
Yeah.
to deal with how our credits are done, our greenhouse gas credits and some other some other credits, dealing with when they expire, when they don't expire. They're basically trying to extend the public utilities credits and make them the same as a, public public owned utility versus like PG. So for instance, like PG&E versus us. We're trying to get those credits more on the same lines, but the new regulatory actions that are coming have been in place for the last couple months.
Thanks.
When you have to have attorneys involved drafting letters, requesting information, you know it's not necessarily a good thing. But they're trying to secure some of those, the retention of some of those rights moving forward, so it makes it easier for public utilities to comply with regulatory actions.
Which, that's part of what Cliff spent most of his time catching us up on, and you spend a fair amount of time still. Any cover would be nice. So with that, item 10, closed session. Thank you everybody for coming. Are you getting this weather?
I'm crocheting. And no.